no, not bothering with none of this indicator shit. I'm just going to do my own thing. Fucking wankers. Good morning everyone, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat. This will be my non-Knackers Yard. This will be a beautiful sunny commute into work on a Monday. Oh, it's not Monday, on a Tuesday morning. So in the real world, in Nat's world, it's Tuesday. So for those in the UK, we're still in the middle of this bright spell, which is nice. And for various parts of the UK we had a bit of a storm yesterday, just to adjust the weather a little bit, because it was getting really close and oppressive. Hence you can see big piles of water around. I don't like coming this way when it's wet, not because I'm a namby-pamby and I don't like getting the bike wet or dirty, it's the fact it floods there. And there's previous footage of me jumping up onto that curb to get out of it. I didn't want to wade a bike through it. Yes, what's going on? Well, every single one of you people viewing this and I have one thing in common. Well, wrong, we have several things in common, otherwise you wouldn't be on the channel. Nothing to do with bikes, we have something in common. That thing in common is you didn't realise that it's my 20th wedding anniversary today. Oops. It's not as bad as it sounds. My wife and I managed to laugh it off last night, and that's because I can be a charming bugger. No, so we have had our wedding anniversary celebration. That's what our trip to the Eurovision Song Contest in Liverpool was last month. We don't really do big presents. We never really have done. We have a house full of children and tats, so we don't tend to buy each other stuff. So for example, last year our wedding anniversary present to each other was a barbecue, which has had a lot of use since then, particularly in these hot spells. But you know, we've got like a nice barbecue. So we did the big Eurovision thing, which was, you know, fundamentally a bucket list event for the good lady. She always wanted to go and she finally got to go, so that was great. Now that was our right, okay, we've done it now, let's not get each other anything else. I then broke that rule when we went to on our family break a couple of weeks ago to Woolacombe, and I picked her up a little it's only a tiny little picture, but made out of recycled beach glass, and it's, you know, a couple of was it cocktails or something? If I remember, I'll put up a little picture. But I just saw it and thought, that's cool, got that. Was going to give it to her on our anniversary, but I'm terrible with presents and I'm massively impatient, plus there were packing issues, so I gave it to her that day and said happy anniversary. So I've done all of that, we're all good. It was last night when I was doing a bit of child admin. I think I was ironing uniform actually. That I suddenly thought, oh, what date is it? Because I was adamant that it was the 11th yesterday, therefore today would be the 12th. Our anniversary is on the 13th. I had a day. No, it's the 12th, so today's the 13th, so oops. So, oh, bugger. Now, my wife has like an art class this evening. So the normal route, excuse me, the normal routine is that I get back from work, she's quite often left for her art class by then. You're just going to come straight out, aren't you? she's quite often left for her art class by then, so I then feed the kids and myself, and then feed, you know, put something on that she can heat up when she gets back, or she gets something on the way. So decided that I'll feed the kids, I won't eat, we'll have a takeout, whatever, we'll have a meal for 2 this evening. And at some point today I really should buy her a card. Now I know this sounds like crap bloke syndrome, it kind of is. You know, I know my wife has bought me a card, but I also know my wife has a great habit of buying cards and then hiding them so that the recipient can't find said cards. The only problem is, a couple of days before when she looked for it, because she, you know, she's very organised like that, so doesn't to buy them in advance. A couple of days before when she goes to look for them, she can't find the fucking things. So I know there's an anniversary card, because I know where there's about 4 of the bloody things stashed around the house from previous purchases. Previous years. Yeah, so that's Nat's fucked up. Well, that's the beginning of Nat's fucked up, I suppose. The other part of Nat's fucked up is, by the time I've pushed this out, you probably would have seen the my exhaust shenanigans, where I've been trying, where I had a go at fixing the Motad 4-to-1, and really fucking didn't get anywhere with it. Ended up just putting some bodge stuff over the top, some exhaust paste. I've pretty much kiboshed the idea of trying to use that exhaust. By kiboshed it, I've had a look at the original exhaust, and downpipes are fine, absolutely fine. They are, you know, they will outlast me. I don't know what it's called. I mean, in a bike with a catalytic converter they called it a collector box, but you know, the stem, the joining stem, I call it the collector bit at the bottom has cleaned up really well. I'm massively surprised, considering that has a, you know, that sits under the bike at temperature at the front of the bike. That has about as hard a life as any part of your bike will do, I think. And just constantly spends its life getting shit sprayed up it. That's come up really well, with minimal effort. And by minimal effort, I'm talking a bowl of hot soapy water. I did end up chucking some Harpic 7X on it, or 6X, 7X, I can't remember which one it is. The old loo cleaner that everyone uses on downpipes. I did lob some of that on, took a little bit more off, I suppose. I gave it a bit of a half-assed go under my Scotch Brite wheel. I'm not going for shiny. I just want it clean, really. And that's looking pretty good. Now I'm probably going to have to, you know, chuck something on there just so that the polish, so that the tarnish doesn't get straight into it. But you know, it was really a case of giving it 20 minutes of love just to see what the potential was in terms of grittiness, and whether or not I am good to just bin the idea of the 4-to-1, which I think I'm going to do. It's going to take a shitload of effort, probably more skill than I've got with a welder. I know I've got to learn, and it's probably a good thing to learn on, but you know, it's thin tube, it's not it's hard. No, it's difficult. So I think I'm going to go with the original exhaust setup of having it as a twin. What I've also done is looked on Tintroweb, because that's what it's for, and actually for really, you know, for few beans, I can get, you know, fairly regular looking twin exhaust for it. And by regular looking, I'm talking, I don't want to use words like retro or anything like that, but you know, decent looking old style. That's probably a better way of looking at it. Old style exhausts. Now for about 150 quid I can get some gorgeous ones, absolutely gorgeous ones, but I may go down that route in the end, but certainly at the moment, and I'm not purchasing at the moment, but at the moment some nice and simple ones. And again, if I do and can remember, I will chuck up some pictures down the bottom, but something, you know, nice and simple, you know, comme ça. I've really had to try and avoid my dickish moments where, you know, you look exhausted and see all sorts of futuristic and fandango cool things. It's just not going to work on that bike. It's a 40 plus year old bike, having some fandango bit of Chinesium hanging from it probably ain't going to work. Yeah, so that's where we are with that. I don't think I'm going to do any. Oh, I might do. I'll see how I go. I don't think I'm really going to bother uploading videos of sort of polishing down pipes and things like that. I don't find it particularly interesting to watch, and therefore I probably won't bother uploading or filming or uploading it. I don't know. I'm also, if I film something, I tend to try and do it to the best of my ability. I'd love to say I do everything to the best of my ability, but there's some things you just kind of slap through when it's, you know, relatively unimportant, or when frankly I just need to crack on. You know, I think whilst you're doing tasks, filming it, I mean, it does add. I don't want to say it adds, you know, doubles the time everything makes, because you've got to think of camera angles and this. God, I'm not fucking Steven Spielberg. I just banged down a mobile phone. Yeah, you looked. But it does add, you know, a fairly weighty percentage of time onto doing anything. Well, there's a surprise. I think that's a 4x4 full motion. Yeah, it's a 4x4 that doesn't play with all the other kids. It's just going to sit there and block the fucking way, aren't you? Oblivious. White cars, always the same. Yeah. So I forgot what I was saying now. Yeah, it's all gone. Talk about Chinesium or something. About the bike in general. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to film that, upload that, doing that. I think I'm going to have to make a start, or have to. I think I'm going to make a start on the frame, which I'm really looking forward to. A bit like most home mechanics, I'm not looking forward to is playing with the electronics, but I'm going to have to do that, and I'll whip the loom out. Now, I don't really want to pull the loom apart, but nor do I want to neglect it, so I need to find some sort of happy medium where I'm not rewiring a bike complete, because I don't know how to do that, and I'm not confident enough to do that, but where I don't just end up chucking a rough loom back onto a bike. I think what I might do is get some loom tape, so I can at least retape what I've got, which then means that I can sort of go through it bit by bit, you know, rather than unfurl the whole thing and have spaghetti junction in front of me, because that would just terrify me and I don't really know what I'm doing with it. But I can do it section by section then, and, you know, undo a section, give it a clean, wrap it back up, undo a section. It's not the most efficient way of doing it, probably not the best way of doing it, but it's probably the most systematic way of doing it for an idiot that doesn't really know what he's doing. Me. But yeah, we shall see. So I think, you know, first job should be loom off and get on with it. I think I'm going to have to go for a bit of a garage reorg, because having the frame tucked at the back isn't going to work. I might have to put it like in the middle, which means I've got to do a little bit of jiggery pokery, pulling blue in and out to go backwards and forwards to work, but that's fine, I can live with that. It also makes access to the engine on the workbench more difficult, which is precisely why I want to finish the engine off before I do that. And by finish it off, what's left on it Realistically, what's left on it is wait for that top gasket to arrive for the cylinder head cover, which should be at some point this week. I then need to get the carb manifolds onto it. I gave them a quick wash yesterday. They look fine, they don't look cracked, they don't look bent. There is a chunk of rubber out of one of them, but I think it's getaway withable, at least for now. But we'll see. I'll try it as is. It didn't leak before. That's not to say that it won't leak now, but I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. So I'll bang those on. It's got the final side cover on, and the timing cover needs to go on as well. And then I think that's engine complete. It's really just, you know, putting stuff back onto it, which is nice, which is very nice. Yeah, and then I will continue with the frame, which I'm really looking forward to. What else has changed? I do have my bike cameras on. I did say before about setting up my my Commute kit. I was going to do that this morning actually, but I thought I'd do one more with my vlogging kit for my video. I hate that corner. Oh no, I'm going the wrong way now. I don't really want to go through that. That's going to trash my tyres. Could have just arced round there, but all that crap would destroy my tyres. Get out of the way, shall we? Yeah, so I was going to go to my mini helmet and do that, but I thought what I'll do is run both in parallel. So obviously I've got the cameras on this, they should be working. I've obviously got a camera here, they should be it is working, and I'll run them in parallel. I want to do like a trip into work and back, get that memory card out and see how much of the memory card it's taken, to see whether or not I need to put it on a loop, or whether or not I need to purge it after each trip, or whatever. But I wanted to have video footage throughout, not because I wanted to fill up YouTube any more than I already have done, but more because I've kind of got myself into a mental state now that I don't like not recording. I feel slightly vulnerable if I'm not recording when I'm riding. Now sometimes I have to, because the battery life on my little GoPro is horrendous. But I don't like doing it, you know, kind of out of choice, if you like. And particularly, I mean, it'd be different if I was doing, you know, country lanes and long tours and things like that, but that's generally not what I get to do on a bike. I get to do a lot of this, and actually the protection offered by a camera, should something daft or dangerous happen, is very useful. And that's, you know, that's something that initiates daft and dangerous, not just other road users. My hands are killing me. I've got new gloves, and these are only like, I thought I was getting the same as I had last time, because I absolutely loved my cheap Chinese summer gloves, but they just fell apart. So I got what I thought was a replacement, but they're too tight across the knuckles. It's just digging in on my first knuckle, both sides. It's fucking irritating. I don't know if they'll loosen off or whether or not I'll just trash them. I mean, they're only super cheap. Right, I think that will do me. I've just talked bollocks. I don't even know if I'm going to upload this, frankly. Now what I could do is try and justify it with dropping in some footage from the other camera, if that camera works, which I think I'll do.